Well, I think one thing is patients die on wait lists, and that saves the government money. I mean, that's a cynical thing to say,
That's
but
dark.
it's actually true.
Yeah.
That tens of thousands of Canadians have died over the last few years not being treated, and that saves the government money. But on the other hand, the biggest thing to me is that democratic governments operate in 3 to 4 year financial cycles, so they don't plan long term, and we know that in the long term it's much cheaper to treat people quickly. If you allow someone to become chronically ill, and this applies both in urgent and emergencies as well as in quotes scheduled surgeries, that if you delay the treatment in orthopedics, people lose their conditioning and strength, and they end up taking longer. One example is I gave is how I used to do a lot of, in the early days of my practice, patients with a hip fracture, elderly patients with a hip fracture would be treated, as soon as they were fit for surgery, they were operated on right away. And I remember one weekend at Vancouver General Hospital, back to back, I operated on 12 fractured hips. On the other hand, to give a personal example, my mother-in-law, she's dead now, but when she was in her late 70s, early 80s, she was an active 80-year-old water skiing at 80, but she tripped and broke her hip. They admitted her to the local hospital in Victoria, where this was maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and they lay her in a bed, and for 48 hours, she was just waiting for an OR to open up. She developed pneumonia. She then, that was treated. And basically, it took 3 weeks before she was fit for surgery. And she never got back to, by that time, she'd lost conditioning and strength and so on. So she never got back. She became, for the next 7 or 8 years, a burden on her family and society, whereas she was previously skiing.